It's Lindsay here from hugyourchaos.com. Happy Thursday. Coming to you from just over, is it Thursday?
No.
I don't know what day it is
Not even
anymore.
close.
Wednesday?
Well, it's close. It's Wednesday.
The joys of RV life and being your own boss. You kind of forget what day it is. So, hey Bev, thanks for joining. So I'm coming to you guys just over the border of Washington, up here in the Pacific Northwest. And yeah, just something I've been thinking a little bit about lately. I was sitting around, hey Carol, good to see you. So, oh ladies, how's it going? So yes, we're here, we're pulled over, we're resting for a while, and I figured I would get online because I wanted to talk to you guys about something that's been on my mind a bit. And funny enough, I keep seeing things pop up in my news feed and finding little random tidbits here and there in books that I'm reading that go along this same topic. So what I want to talk about, and hey, if you're watching the replay later on, thanks for joining. Feel free to, like, comment, ask anything that you want to ask in the comments below, and I'll be back to check on this. Let me turn this off behind my head. So yeah, something I wanted to discuss. Hey Amanda, hey Lori, thanks for joining. So we so often see everyone talking about changing the world and the ideals that they want for the world and everything we want to see in the world and why isn't the world different. Hey Claire, hey Karen. And the thing that we seem to forget, or maybe we're never really taught, is that if we really want to change the world, we have to start with ourselves. So, essentially we can't create something in the world that we are not allowing to flow within ourselves, right? And now that's something to think about. So as we sit around and we want and we think and we connect with this vision of this ideal world that we, want to create, a more loving and compassionate and forgiving and generous world, right? I mean, I know most of you guys that follow me probably seek those things as I do. So what we can do is we can start asking ourselves how we can start contributing to that on an individual level, right? Right. So what can we do individually to help bring this about? Hey Cindy, and it doesn't have to be these mass things, right? It doesn't have to be these mass overhauls. We don't have to have large sums of money to give to charity. We don't have to have huge blocks of time to go and volunteer at whatever, charitable cause we would like to volunteer at. Our acts can be as small as just showing someone kindness that usually we would walk by on the street without even knowing or without even acknowledging. It can be as small as, buying a coffee for someone behind you in line. It can be as simple as smiling at a stranger on the street, holding the door open for someone, stopping to listen to someone or chat with someone in the grocery store line who maybe, is there and lonely and just wants someone to talk to. Hey Michelle, hey John. And I love how all my chakra students are just bonding together and greeting each other. Awesome work you guys are doing in our 7-week chakra course. So stoked to see you guys here. So, we don't have to, it's so easy, right? I know for me, I used to get so overwhelmed when I would think about how can I bring change to the world? And I would think about all of the things that I saw that were wrong with the world and all the things that I wanted to change in the world. And, I would just simply get overwhelmed. Like, well, I can't change all of it, so how am I supposed to work on any of it? Hey, Trisha, you're going to have the whole class here soon. Awesome. So, what we can do, hey, Danielle, instead of getting overwhelmed and being like, well, because that's kind of the defeatist thing that our mind can do, right? The ego will do that. Well, I can't change it all, and I can't do it all to the standard that I want to do it, so I'm just going to go ahead and not do anything. I'm just going to sit over here in my comfort zone of laziness and apathy and not do anything. And this is the trap that we fall into. And there's a lot of reasons this happens. I could go on and on about the reasons this happens, It's societal programming. If you want me to go down the conspiracy theory route, they don't want people that Oh, hey, I'm back. Did I lose you guys? No, I'm back. Here I am. So anyways, as I was saying, they don't want this mass population of us that is, essentially critically thinking and awake and tapped into this love dynamic and tapped into this action dynamic. They condition us to be apathetic and lazy and not care, right? And then, of course, our ego takes a whole Oh, hello, we're back. Are you guys still here? Okay, I'm juggling. I'm trying to find a little spot where the service is going to hold up for me to talk to you guys. Hey, Jeffro. Hey, Anthony. So, whoever's still watching, okay, where were we? So, we were talking about how, they condition us. They don't want us to be action takers. They don't want us to be seekers of change. They want us to just stay comfortable and stay in our little zones of comfort. And that's part of the consumerist, mindset of America, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with enjoying the material comforts of life that we earn. But I know, guys, this is super sketch. We have super dodgy Wi-Fi right now. But so what I want to challenge you guys to start asking yourselves is forgetting what you want to change in the world. Well, keeping it in mind in a sense, because you know what? If you want to see more love in the world, if you want to see more tolerance in the world, if you want to see more kindness in the world, if you want to see more peace in the world, start asking yourself, how can I bring blank to the world? So how can I bring more inner peace to the world? If you start asking your mind that, your mind is going to seek out. Hey, Angela, thanks for tuning in. Your mind is going to start seeking out the answers to whatever questions you ask it. So shifting the question from why is the world the way it is and why isn't the world a better place, to power questions like how can I bring more peace, love, kindness, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, whatever it is you want to see in the world. You know what? And your mind will come up with solutions. Your mind will inspire you to, like I said, smile for that stranger on the street. Hold the door open for someone. Go a little bit outside of your comfort zone and talk to someone that maybe has nobody to talk to that's standing in front of you in the line in the grocery store. Right? Buy somebody a coffee who's behind you in line. It's these small acts. Okay? Our mind tends to look at it in this way that like, if we can't do the big, huge, heroic acts, why do everything? Well, sometimes the smallest acts are the most heroic. Sometimes it's the smallest acts that mean the most to someone else. So when we start pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zone and we start taking power question, Claire. How can I positively affect the human-animal bond? Boom! Carol, one random act of kindness at a time. Awesome. I love it. So, right, we start seeking within ourselves how we can start being better versions of ourselves, right? And it's not to say, look, I'm a huge advocate and I subscribe to the belief that we are divinely imperfect in all of our messiness and all of our flaws. I mean, that's what hugyourchaos.com is all about. It's about acknowledging the darkness and acknowledging the shadows and bringing them to light so we can talk to them and we can admit to them and we can bond over them together. But on the same time, here's one of the paradoxes of life, right? On the same time, it's not being like, well, I'm just perfectly imperfect in all my divine messiness. So that means sitting and remaining in that messiness. It means acknowledging it so you can improve upon it, because by acknowledging it and embracing who we are on an integrative level and a whole scale level, we can then help other people and we can then connect with other people and we can then be beacons of light and hope for other people, right? So when we seek to improve just a little bit on the little things we do in our own lives that we all get caught up in our selfishness and our needs and our wants and our drives and our ambitions and our dreams, right? And our tunnel vision and our busyness about, where are we going? What am I doing? What do I have to get done today? That how many times do we just walk by people in our path? Hey, Mom. Hey, Gail. Thanks for joining. So how many times are we just, blowing through our day without even really connecting with or acknowledging with or noticing, who we're interacting with or who we're passing by, right? So it's these little things like, how can we slow down and be a better person? How can I embody more compassion and more love and more kindness, right? I know for me, it's I can snap myself out of my tunnel vision and start noticing the people around me, right? When I get super driven and in work mode and I'm like, oh, I just have to do this one more thing and I just got to get this done. And then I'm not connecting, with my husband or my dogs don't get as much attention as I would like to give them over the course of a day. Or I walk by 3 people, on my way into the grocery store without acknowledging them as humans. Eye contact and a smile to strangers is massive. To me, it's one of the smallest, most simplest things outside of our comfort zone that we can do to just create a little bit of human connection and kindness in the world. Have you ever stopped and just said hello to someone, how are you, or complimented them on what they were wearing and seen them light up and respond because somebody noticed them? Somebody gave them a moment of human connection over the course of their, wherever they were going. It can make all the difference. So, to me, it's big questions like this and things like this that we can ask ourselves, that we can start bringing the change, because by affecting the change within ourselves, yes, right, exactly, Mom, or passing by someone who may need help, exactly, like on the side of the road, stopping and asking someone if they need help. You see somebody trip and fall in front of you, asking them if they're okay. We get so caught up in our ego and, oh, they don't need me, or somebody else is going to do it, right? Always with the somebody else is going to do it. Get outside of ourselves, exactly. We all get so caught up in the things that we have to do and where we're trying to go and the paths we're trying to take. And hey, Teresa. Hey, Suzanne. Hey, Aziel. So when we can just stop and slow down and remember the human aspect of the connection, that's what the world is lacking. So if we really want to bring a change to the world and make the world a better place, we have to start within ourselves. And a big part of doing that is starting with connection. That's what the world is lacking. The world is lacking connection. It is my firm belief, Chris and I subscribe to it all the time. We talk about it. Lack of connection is what is fueling, depression, anxiety, addiction, all of the craziness we see in the world. Just lack of connection. We're all wading our way through this mess called life on earth and trying to figure it out. And we get so caught up in thinking we have to do it alone and that everything we're going through is only us and we can't talk about it because we're so afraid someone's going to judge us, when really it's just because we're judging ourselves so harshly. So when we can lighten up on ourselves and we can open our heart chakra, which, ladies, in my chakra course, we're doing that next week. Who's excited? So we can just open up our heart chakras and stop being so harsh and judgmental and rigid on ourselves, and we can embrace ourselves with love and compassion and tolerance and forgiveness. That's when we can start giving it to others. And until we can do it on an individual level, we're not going to bring that change to the world, right? Good. Claire's excited. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Exactly. Carol, I complimented a young girl who works in our local store just yesterday on the color of her. Yes, exactly. Everyone loves a good, honest, heartfelt compliment. Hey, Janet, thanks for joining. Hey, Kyle. So when we just pause for a moment and we stop, in essence, we pull our heads out of our asses, right? And we notice who's around us and we give someone a little bit of just human love and connection and attention, it can drastically change their day. I mean, you guys have all seen Pay It Forward, right? And then what do? They then go out into the world with that buoyancy that we gave them. Not that we gave them, but essentially it's God working through us. I mean, we don't want to take credit for it. That's just ego. But when we can just approach another human with just a little bit of kindness and compassion, especially a stranger, it can be the light in their day that makes all the difference. And I firmly believe that is how we are going to start really growing the seeds of change that we all sit around and say we want to see in the world, you know? I mean, I scroll social media every day and there's tons of really great, you know, inspirational quotes and words out there on people's walls. And I mean, I don't know what they're doing when they're not on social media, and I'm not trying to make that assumption or judge that. But I know that if everybody who was posting inspirational quotes on social media was out there living the inspirational quotes, the world would be a drastically different place, right? So that's why I take the time to do these live streams. You know, I don't want to hear myself talk. I can hear myself talk all day long. I'm sure my husband, Boo, gets sick of it. Right? So, hey, Christy. Hey, Rory. So... And we talk about this all the time, just like infiltrating from below the, like behind the scenes almost. Hey, Pat. Angela, yes, leading by example. Exactly. Isn't that plant awesome? I was just giving him some Reiki. He's a little stressed out from the drive. We're on the border of Washington. We just crossed in from Oregon. Astoria, Oregon, just across the river. We visited where they filmed the Goonies. Woohoo! We saw the Goonies house and the Goonies town. Yeah, for all of us 80s babies who grew up on the Goonies, it was pretty neat. It's a cute little town. So exactly that. And coming from, yeah, Mega, thank you. So I grew up in New Jersey, right? I lived in Florida for a few years. I lived in Mammoth Lakes, California for a few years, and I lived in LA County for a few years. So all of these places were drastically different in their own right. You know, in New York, people are New York and New Jersey on the East Coast, people are gruff, people are straightforward. They tell it to you like it is. They're very sarcastic. We tease each other. We talk shit to one another. But when it comes down to it, people have your back. But there is some level of, you know, I'm just tunnel vision and I gotta go, and ambition and drive, and people are busy and they're too busy to, you know, say, hey, and acknowledge someone on a human level, you know. In Florida, you have very friendly people, but there's also a lot of closed-mindedness. So we have these drastic, you know, sort of paradigms in the way that we interact with one another in the different societies and cities that we live in. And I think if we can just step, you know, and then living in LA is probably one of the most in your face places that we were, and one of my least favorite because of, you know, seeing things like the drastic income disparity of Skid Row in Los Angeles, when then a few miles away you have Beverly Hills, and people have so much money that, you know, they don't know what to do with it. They have so much money, they're flying in water during a drought to keep their lawns green. And then 5 miles away from them or so, I mean, I don't know how far the distance is, but I'm sure it's just down the hill, you have mass amounts of people living in tent cities starving. And I mean, I'm not saying that people who earn their money need to give away their money. I don't subscribe to that either, but like, that's a problem. It's a problem when we have mass groups of people living on the fringes of society, forgotten by the rest of us. And then, you know, people choose to go through LA and they just avoid it so that they don't have to actually see what's happening. And that's where I think I struggle the most with. Like, I don't care if someone's homeless, if they're digging through the trash, whatever they are. I don't care. I don't care if they're in $1 million suit walking by me. Everybody that walks by me, I acknowledge with eye contact. And whether or not they want to acknowledge me back is up to them. You know, there are some really closed down people out in the world, but they're not the ones that I'm doing it for. I'm doing it for the ones who light up when I make that eye contact and I say, hey, how's it going? I love your skirt, or whatever, you know? And people light up at the human connection that was just forged. Right? And that is all just, it's heart chakra, you guys. It's heart chakra, it's throat chakra. Open it up, let that shit flow. We're smack in the middle of a 7-week chakra, a healing and alignment course. I'll be doing another one when this one ends. So, you know, stay tuned if it's something you're interested in wanting help with. I do chakra healings. You can find me on Conversi, and we could do a chakra healing session if that's something you're open to. Otherwise, you know, just Be human. Remember your humanness. Breathe, pause, meditate, take a breath. Nothing's that important. Nothing is that important than that human being that we are walking by who is sitting in a corner, dying. Or that human being that is amongst all of us at work that is dying on the inside because they don't feel like they have a connection with someone that they can open up and help release their burden, right? Our egos keep us so fucking trapped and so separated that we have to learn how to smash through that if we're ever going to see any change in this world. If we really, truly want to bring about, the utopian fourth dimensional society that so many seekers talk about and post about and ramble on about on Facebook, well, then what are we doing? And exactly that, Penny. I feel that if you can't give anything, you can always give a smile. At the very least, a smile and a compliment, right? Thank you for saying that. So, Jessica, hey, I'm just about to finish. Thanks for tuning in, though. So, you guys, feel free to watch the replay if you missed the whole thing. Come join our Hug Your Chaos Facebook group if you're not already in there. Now I have a plant head. What do you guys think? Green plant hair? How's that look? And remember, just have fun. Life's not that serious. Stop taking yourself so seriously. Go out and find someone to smile at. And let me know how it goes. All right, bye, everybody. Much love.